Alright, good morning. Wanted to make a quick tutorial video on how I made this image here. Just a very simple way of getting a message across using Photoshop. There's a lot into the use of Photoshop. If you don't know what it is, it's an Adobe product. It's basically used for creating images and different documents and things like that. You can do a whole bunch on Photoshop. It's one of my favorite programs. So I'm going to basically give you a rundown here of how you can use this software to create something like this image here. So let's get started. Basically, whenever I feel like I have something that I want to share, you can do a myriad of things. You can create something from scratch, which is basically like working from a blank canvas, which would be something like this. Or you can take something that's already built and kind of put your own thing into it, onto it, which is way more efficient, and it looks a lot better most times. So anyway, what I do, I'm going to bring this over here. There's a couple different sources that I have, and I'll get into those maybe at some point in time, but I just quickly want to show you this one. This is freedesignresources.net. If you go to that website, they have a mockups category. They have fonts and templates, all kinds of different things, and all these things are free. It's great, wonderful, wonderful site to find something like that. So basically, I'll just go on here and scroll through and find something that I want to create or use to create on top of. They've got all kinds of different things. They've got notebooks, t-shirts, business cards, anything really you can think of. All these are free to design on top of. So I'm going to go on down through here and figure out where I found that one from. Here it is. So this is the one that I wanted to build from. It's called Art Equipment Mockup, so I'm just going to click on that. And you can just download it here. Once you download it, it will come, of course, down into your downloads. And then I'll bring this over here for you. So you can see here that it's a zip file, so once I right click and hit extract all, it will actually unzip the file, and then you can jump into the folder, and there's a Photoshop document. So when you open that up, this is kind of what it looks like. It says your design here, and this is the great thing about Smart Objects, is that whenever I design on this layer, this is your layers over here on the right. I'll jump back over here. These are all your different layers, your different filters, different things like that, all fall over here on the right. So this little box here is called a Smart Object thumbnail. When you double click on that, it opens your canvas, so to speak. So I could really, I could put anything that I wanted on here. I'll just quickly show you an example. I'll go over here to Google, type in panda. Get an image of a panda. Let's use this guy. Copy that, and then I want to paste it over here. Make it a little bigger, of course, and you can see whatever I put on my canvas. Save it, close it, comes over onto the Smart Object, and it's actually angled and filtered and everything already. You can see the shadows from the brushes, and the paint bottles here are automatically over top of it. Just makes it a whole lot easier. So what I did for this image here is, whenever I was in here, I used only two different fonts. This font is called Boutique Script Regular, and it is free on dafont.com. I'll show you that website very quickly. It's a great another free resource for different fonts and stuff. It's pretty great resource for different fonts. I mean, as many fonts as you can think of. There's all kind of different categories and stuff like that. All you have to do to use those is basically just click download, and you can see that it goes down into your downloads there. So you're able to use any of those fonts from that website. Pretty cool site. So Boutique, and then this font here is I'm not sure how to pronounce that. You can see up here Ematic SC Regular. Not sure. I just wanted to put the emphasis and the focus on small versus the contrast of the Boutique font, and then put the scripture reference down here. So that's my kind of art layout, and then when I save that and close it, it does the same thing that it did with the panda. Puts it down on there and puts the shadows over top. It kind of lays it on top of the canvas. So now that I have done that, I will show you how I gave it the watercolor look. There's all kinds of websites that have free patterns for Photoshop. You can see my pattern library over here on the right. These are all free from online. You can use all kind of different ones. But basically on this layer here, that's my design from the smart object up here. That's my design layer, and you can see that I've got what I call a pattern, what's called a pattern overlay on top of the font, and that basically will put this pattern over any data that is on this layer. And remember, the only data that's on there is the font that we put on the smart object. So on this window, you can change the scale of the actual texture of the pattern itself. You can go real small. I mean, you can see how small it goes. You can go really big, which gets blurry, gets pixelated if you do that. But you just kind of pick something that looks nice, that looks like it's an appropriate scale. I'm gonna maybe leave it right about there. That's 221%, and you can hit OK, and you can see that it adds the pattern overlay to the data. You can do that with any of these over here. You've got gold. You can see that the scale's off once again, but if I go back to my pattern overlay and change that scale, you can see that it almost gives it like a gold foil look, which is pretty cool. That's what we actually used for our MFCreative logo down here. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to undo that. So that's basically it. And then you can save that. And you save it as a JPEG right there. You already did it over here. Small beginnings, and you're done. So basically, the only thing I added to the document itself was the logo, which is a PNG, and that is right here. So you can see, you can just turn that on and off. I've got that made without a background, and you just drag it over, drop it in there, and size it accordingly. Save it as a JPEG, and then you've got it saved in your on your computer. You can put it on Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. That's basically how that's done. So yeah, that's the end of the tutorial for this one. We'll try to do more of these, so keep kind of people updated on how we do things and how we get to the final products as quickly and effectively as possible, so it'll help you learn, and that will help your craft and your art grow as well. Okay.